I live on a farm and my passion is cooking. Here at Triumph Farms, we grow wheat, peas, beans, canola, and barley. And that gives, to me, endless possibilities when it comes to the kitchen and food for your table. I think it's important for people to know where their food comes from farmers around you, and if you can shop local or use ingredients in a new way that maybe you hadn't thought of before, that's a bonus to me. So welcome back to the kitchen for a farm to table experience, and we will be tackling beef barley soup. I've put garlic, some Italian seasoning, and a little bit of spice, steak spice on the beef, and I'm just going to put it in my pressure cooker here. Now, if you don't have a pressure cooker, you could put it in the oven, you could put it in the slow cooker. Just cook it till it's well done, almost to the point where it falls apart. I've got just some beef stock here in a pot, bring it up to a boil. I'm just going to throw in, so here's our barley. It's pot barley, you can buy pearled barley. It's pretty similar, it'll cook the same. This is just a little bit bigger, a little rougher. I'm just going to pour it into the pot here. So altogether I have about 1.5 cups of barley. Just give that a stir. And you're going to cook that for about 30 minutes or so. You'll know when it's fully done, when it's translucent through, similar to what a noodle is. It takes longer than a noodle, but it will be firm but al dente all the way through. So we'll just let that boil while we go and chop up some veggies and get ready for that, because this will take longer. We'll put the veggies in halfway through, throw the beef in, and finish that up. Let it keep boiling, just give it a little stir every now and then so they don't stick to the bottom. Okay, so we've just got this lightly boiling, and I just want to check on the barley. I mean, you can leave it for quite a while, but you can see here, oops, spill all over my stove here. You can see hopefully the different colors, so you can see how it's a little more white to the center. So I'm going to guess it's about halfway done. So I'll break one in half here and show you. So you can see here how the white is right in the center. So from the outside to the inside center, you can see that the barley's probably about half done. That gives you kind of an indication about when you should put your vegetables in. Then again, you can cook the barley all the way fully cooked before you add your veggies if you want. It will absorb water and still stay fairly firm, not like a noodle that would go overcooked and mushy. Barley can take quite a bit of cooking. But I am going to add a little bit of vegetable stock now. It's just pureed vegetables, onions, celery, tomato, just a little bit of extra flavor there while my beef is still cooking. And you could also right now throw your raw beef in too if you have ground beef. That would be a little bit greasier, but if you had the stewing meat like we had, chopped it up into small bits, you could throw it in there at the same time as the barley and cook it until it's tender before you add your vegetables. But let's switch over to vegetables quickly. And I've got some chopped onion here, 1 medium-sized onion, just roughly chopped here. I'm going to throw that in. And that will start flavoring this broth for the soup and add that flavor right into the barley. As the barley absorbs the broth to cook, it will be having that onion and vegetable flavor. So I've got here 3 carrots, just roughly chopped. Oh, my pot is getting a bit full. I have this tendency to choose a large pot and then still manage to overfill it. But as it cooks and the barley will start taking that moisture and that stock, it will go down a little bit, as well as some evaporation. And I've got 3 ribs of celery here to go into. So that's our vegetables. just plain and simple. You can add whatever kind of vegetables. If you wanted to add in some broccoli and cauliflower or something, I would do that at the very end. But being that the onions, celery, and carrots take a little while to cook, it's perfect blend right now to get that in there. And then I will throw in some cabbage and a little bit of stuff, some tomatoes near the end of it that don't want to be overcooked. So we'll just let that simmer away at a little medium boil here for about 20 minutes, and we'll come back and check on it. Now we have our beef done. I cooked it for 40 minutes in the pressure cooker here, and it is fork tender. Easily breaks apart, as you can see. Oh, now yeah. There you go. So it's fork tender to just pull apart. So we'll just mash it up a little bit into some smaller pieces. And once those veggies are tender, we'll go ahead and throw that meat in, and this beautiful beef stock we have here. I've got some garlic in there, and that'll just add that much more flavor to our broth. Okay, so I have the beef that I've just kind of pulled apart a bit with their juice, and I'm just going to put that all into the soup pot here. Alright, so we got those beef pieces. I'm going to also go in with some shredded cabbage, little carrot, purple cabbage. Oh dear, it's getting a little full. You could also throw in some diced potato, anything like that. I've taken out a little bit of the stock. I've got about half a cup of stock, and I'm just pouring in a tablespoon of cornstarch. Now I'm going to mix that in. I'm actually going to put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in. I like mine a little bit thicker. As you can see, everything is cooked through. The meat is tender. The carrots are cooked through. The onions are translucent. The cabbage is cooked. So I'm going to go in with that slurry now of this stock and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Just going to make sure it's boiling, because you want to make sure that cooks, and continually stir it while you dump it in there. You don't want to just pour it in and leave it. It will just create one big clump of cooked starch. So we'll just stir that up. It will thicken as it boils, as that cornstarch cooks. It will thicken into a clear broth, so it will kind of suspend the vegetables in the liquid a little bit more than a broth where everything settles down. And while that's boiling, I'm just going to wait for that cornstarch to cook. And then I will throw in some corn, just some frozen corn. I like to just add a little bit of extra vegetable wherever I can. Peas, corn, grab a little bit out of the freezer or fresh, whatever you've got. Alright, so that's boiling. And that looks good. It's nice and clear. If you're not quite sure if it's cooked through, give it a little taste. If it tastes a bit starchy, it's not finished. But this is coming to a rolling boil, and it doesn't take very long. I'm just going to throw in there a can of stewed tomatoes. I love the depth that tomato or tomato paste, even if you just have a can of tomato paste or some tomato soup broth or whatever, V8, anything you want to throw in there to add a little extra. And then I've got some frozen corn. You can add in as much as you like, or not at all if you prefer not to. I've got about half a cup there. Last but not least, much to my family's dismay, a little bit of kale in there. You can hold that off, or a little spinach or anything like that. A little green just really makes it pop, and because I don't have any fresh peas or frozen peas, I like the look of that. Not to mention a little extra iron. And just to finish your soup, always remember to give it a taste. I'm going to put in a little extra salt and pepper, a little extra seasoning in there, just to make sure it's full of flavor along with all those vegetables. A little salt and pepper and a little bit of Italian seasonings. Give that a quick stir before we dish that up. Now that's perfect for a cool and rainy day. So that's our beef barley soup. Give it a try, see what you think. Tell me if you've added anything different, if you made it better than I did. But I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thanks.